Welcome back everyone to another Warzone 2 video on the channel. Today we're going over another full settings guide for console players. As you guys can see by the logo above my name in the game, I am on my PlayStation right now, specifically my PS4, and today I want to go over everything that I feel like you guys should be using if you want to get the best performance and experience out of your console. So with that being said, if you guys do enjoy today's video and learn something new, make sure you guys drop a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you guys do enjoy videos like this and want to learn more, make sure you guys comment down below and also join my Discord so you guys can stay up to date whenever I upload, or you guys can ask me questions in person. With that being said, we're going to go over every single settings category in today's video. So without further ado, let's go straight into the settings. Starting off in controller settings, I'm not going to go too deep into this, but you guys already know what settings I use. I make lots of settings videos all the time. These are my current settings. I do have my button layout set to default, and I've said this many times, I do play claw. If you guys don't play claw, or if you guys don't have paddles, I recommend you guys do play on bumper jumper. But if you guys don't actually need to, if you guys already have paddles or play claw, you guys don't really need to change this up. But yeah, I'm not gonna go too deep in controller settings. We're always doing controller setting videos on the channel. Today I want to really focus in on the other settings that's gonna help performance. So I'm just gonna slightly skim over everything I'm using right now. I'm gonna go to the advanced section real quick as well, show you guys everything I'm using. Here's my dead zone for those of you that are curious. Yes, it is actually a little bit higher right now because I'm testing something out for a future video, so stay tuned to that. But I usually have my dead zone set to 0. Here's all my gyro sensitivity, and I also have the rest of my movement behavior sensitivities right here, all my settings as well. So this is basically all I have for controller. Moving on to audio, or my bad, graphics. You guys are going to see right here, starting off with the #1 setting you see the first time you load into graphics is going to be your on-demand texture streaming. Guys, make sure this is off. I say this all the time, do not have this setting on. This will throttle your PlayStation when it comes to internet and FPS. This is one of the only settings in the game that affects both of those at the same time. So if you guys do want to have smoother gameplay when it comes to FPS and also better, connection and not as much latency as lag spikes, I recommend you guys go ahead and turn this all the way off. I actually have a very stable connection on my PlayStation 4 and I still have lag spikes when having this on. So I just recommend you guys leave it off. In my opinion, it's a really bad feature. In other games it works really well, but the developers of Warzone did not optimize this feature properly, so it's really, really bad. World motion blur and web motion blur, I have these both set to off. You guys can leave these on if you want to. This is all personal preference right here, but I do recommend you guys turn film grain down all the way to 0. This looks really bad in my opinion. It makes the game look really grainy, and it's kind of hard to see people at long range because it kind of turns into mesh, so I recommend you guys turn this off. Depth of field, this is also personal preference. It depends on how you guys like to experience the game, but when it comes down to Fidelity Cas, I've actually made a video on this recently, and I do recommend you guys to turn this off if you are experiencing a lot of frame drops. Right now, I'm not actually experiencing that many frame drops. I'm going to show you guys some gameplay at the end of the video to show you guys exactly how my PlayStation is running right now. But if you guys do experience, huge lag drops to where it's unbearable and you cannot play the game smoothly, I recommend you guys go ahead and turn this off. But right now, if you guys do have it on, if you guys aren't experiencing a ton of issues, you guys can leave it at 50. That should be a good number. Anything above 60 is kind of going overkill. It's going to make the game look really, really sharp, which you don't really want. And at the same time, it's going to basically, put a lot more stress on your console's APU if you turn this up too high. So make sure you guys have this around 50 or 60 should be fine. I also recommend if you guys do have the option on your TV or monitor to go ahead and turn your sharpness up, and you guys can go ahead and turn this down some to compensate for fidelity. This will give you a lot more performance, and you can still have the same amount of sharpness that you had before. So it's basically a win-win. I have my field of view set to 120. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this later, but 120 is what my field of view is right now. And here's my other field of view settings right here as well, have affected and default. The rest of these are more so personal preference. Besides brightness, I do recommend you guys do not have your brightness up super high. I have mine set to 50. I have it at the complete middle. If you guys do want to, see a little bit more enemies, this is not the way to do it. Do not just throttle your brightness up. You will suffer and your eyes are going to burn. Make sure you guys have a nice, solid, sweet spot for brightness. Where it says not visible, you want to make it to where it's not visible. So for me, I can barely see it right about here. I know on the video you guys probably can't see it still. But yeah, I like to have mine at 50. I like to have more contrast and depth. So yeah, The one in the middle should be barely visible, as it says. It shouldn't be easily visible like the one on the right. It should be somewhere like around here for you guys. I'm looking at my other monitor right now to see what you guys see. This is where it should be. I have mine at 50 just for it to be, you know, easier to understand for those of you that are trying to have a specific brightness setting. So yeah. And my safe area is this. I mean, there really is no way to really explain this. If you guys do want to have your safe area all the way out, you guys can. I just have mine sort of more in towards the screen. It helps me see my ammo and my other, you know, kill streaks and stuff a little bit easier. I don't have to travel my eyes across my monitor because I do play on a 27-inch monitor. It's pretty big, so, you know, any eye travel that I have to do is going to be unnecessary if I am trying to, you know, win gunfights and trying to keep track of my ammo, my kill streaks, all that sort of thing. This does change your heads up display. If you guys don't know what that means, it is exactly what I just said. Your ammo, your kill streaks, your minimap, all that sort of thing. Even kill feeds. So I recommend you guys go ahead and leave that as minimized as you guys can. But like I said, it's basically just personal preference. Right here we have eco mode, which enables power saving features. Now you guys can actually use this. This doesn't really change much as far as I've tested so far. Basically it makes it to where whenever you're in the main menu, like right now on settings, it's going to turn down the quality. That way it kind of saves more performance and doesn't, you know, consume as much energy, which is good. And even the PC version has this setting and similar settings like this in the Windows settings. But if you guys do want to preserve some extra frames, I do recommend you guys go ahead and turn this on. You have three options. I recommend, you know, full or minimal. Off, honestly, is just a bad idea in my opinion. It works really well to keep the game from lagging up a bunch. It doesn't really load assets with as much quality. So yeah, go ahead and turn it on full. There really shouldn't be any harm in that. And those are the graphic settings I'm using right now. Moving on to audio settings, we have some interesting ones I want to talk about today. Right now I'm using headphone bass boost, but I've actually recommended in a couple of videos you guys either use home theater or headphones. Bass Boost actually had an update in the recent Season 5 Reloaded update that made it a lot better than it was before. So if you guys are playing on anything else and you guys do use headphones and not like a sound bar or anything, I do recommend you guys go ahead and give Bass Boost a try. I know the audio in this game is absolutely horrendous, so this actually might help a lot. It's helped me a lot for sure. And if you guys are wondering what headphones I have Astro A40s. I don't have a mix amp, so I can't, you know, toggle it and be able to hear footsteps easier that way. So I feel like this is probably the best way to get the most out of your audio. And master volume I have set to 100. I have my gameplay music volume set to 0 as well as my cinematic music volume. But if you guys do want to hear more while there's, you know, precision strikes or UAVs going live, I recommend you guys turn your dialogue volume down to about 50 or maybe 25. It's going to make it to where you don't have an operator in your ear screaming at you saying, oh, there's a UAV or oh, there's a precision strike, while you're trying to hear footsteps. So I recommend you guys turn this down, and also make sure you guys have your effects volume all the way up. This is responsible for footsteps. If you guys have this down, you are literally missing out on free footsteps every single time. So make sure you guys have this set to 100. All the voice chat settings are personal preference. I have mine set to off as of right now. Microphone, exact same thing. You guys can have subtitles if you want to. I don't have subtitles on. And guys, if you guys have mono audio on, turn this off, please. This is a very bad setting. It's going to make it to where both audio channels from your left and right ear get mashed into one, making it impossible for you to identify what level or which direction someone is coming from, or even gunshots. So make sure this is off. Do not turn this on. And the rest of this stuff is personal preference as usual. And moving on to the last category in your settings, which is interface. We have our menu text size and text chat size set to default. That stuff doesn't really matter as much. What does actually matter is your color customization settings, which I've actually talked about in a video a while ago. They've actually made a bit of an update to this, allowing you to change a lot more than what you were able to change before. As you guys can see right here, I have my color filter set to filter 2, and you guys see we actually have some sliders here that we can change the intensity, which is very, very good, and I'm very happy they added this setting. Right here I have my color filter target set to world, and what this means is it's only going to affect the game, like, you know, buildings and other people, you know, let's say the street and other cars in the game. It's only going to affect that. It's not going to affect your interface. Your interface is things like your minimap and your heads-up display sort of stuff. So I recommend if you guys aren't actually colorblind and you don't need any colorblind settings when it comes to your eyes, I recommend you guys only use world. If you guys are colorblind, you guys can use both. But yeah, world is the only thing you really need if you're not colorblind, and you guys can go ahead and turn your world color intensity up to 100 if you guys are trying to get the most amount of color. A lot of people in my community are saying that filter 2 is the best, so if you guys do want to have more color, go ahead and slap on filter 2 and try it out. In the interface element colors, you guys can change your heads up display color palette. Mine's custom right now. You guys can see what I have set up right here. And I do recommend you guys do this if you guys are colorblind, or if you guys want to see enemies better. If you guys go over here to enemy, if you guys do play Modern Warfare 2, you guys will be able to see their names a lot brighter if you change the color to a much better red. You guys see the default is this color, which is kind of red, but it's nowhere near as red as this one right here. This one's way better, and it's much more vibrant, so it's easier to see name tags. And it's going to be useful for UAVs and anything else like that. So if you guys aren't using that already, I recommend you guys go ahead and turn that to a much deeper and richer red. You guys can also change squad member colors, which is pretty cool, and I actually like this addition a lot. This is the sort of thing I want to see more of when it comes to customization in Warzone 2, and especially in Modern Warfare 3. I feel like all of these settings are very, very useful to customize the way your game feels. So if you guys want to go in here and change all of your squad member colors, I recommend you guys go ahead and do that. I leave mine at default because I don't really play with teammates as much. I play a lot of solos, but if you guys are trying to play with the homies, I recommend you guys go ahead and play around with this if you guys haven't already. And guys, in your heads up display, make sure your minimap is set to square. This is very important. If you guys look to the right where it shows the example of the square versus circle, you're actually losing a bit of space on the left side. You guys can see that the right side has those corners and the left side doesn't. So you are actually losing radar space when you use circle versus square. So have square on if you guys are trying to get the maximum range out of your UAVs and minimap. And make sure minimap rotation is on. That's going to help a lot if you guys are trying to find out exactly where you are and exactly where enemies are. It makes it much, much easier. Moving on to crosshairs. I actually have my crosshairs off usually, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. And here's why. If I actually scroll down a little bit more, you guys are going to see a setting called center dot. I actually made a video just before the video I'm making right now on this setting alone. And this basically just gives you a static dot in the middle of your screen at all times that never moves, which is very, very overpowered when it comes to centering. If you guys don't have this on, I highly recommend you guys go ahead and slap this on. You guys can also change the scale. I have, larger, largest, default. I usually rock default. I don't really need a super big one, but if you guys are having trouble seeing your center dot, you guys can go ahead and turn the scale up. And then all this stuff is just telemetry stuff. You don't have to turn this on if you guys want to. I have mine off right now. And this one right here, which is an inverted flash, I recommend you guys go and turn this on. You guys might not like it if you guys, are used to the bright white flash effect. But if you guys do want to invert this on, basically it makes it to where when someone hits you with a flash grenade, your screen turns black instead of white, which can be a lot better if you don't want to get blinded while you're trying to fight. So I recommend you guys turn it on, but you guys don't have to. But that just about wraps up everything for today's video. A lot has changed in the Season 5 Reloaded update. So if you guys are trying to find some better settings, a lot of these should help. If you guys have any questions, or if you guys feel like I missed anything in today's video, make sure you guys comment them down below. And like I said before, go ahead and join my Discord. I would love to talk to you guys in person and try to help you guys out hand in hand. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace, love, and understanding always.